Look at that. All right, so many of these shows end up starting at the Toronto International Airport, but I'm heading out to British Columbia again in this episode of So I Bought a Gold Mine. And this is an exciting episode. We are actually going to sell the gold. So what's going to happen, you're going to see with me on this trip, is I'm going to meet our general manager, Dan, in Vancouver, and we're going to a company called Technique. Now, Technique is the company based in Vancouver that all the mines, especially smaller startup mines like this, sell their gold to, where you get top dollar. And you take the gold out there, they smelt it down, so they melt it and they extract all the other metals. So we're going to get a report that tells us what other metals are in the gold as well as the gold. And then what they do is they finalize the pure gold and they create an online account for us and they list how much gold we have in there, and then we can sell it whenever we want. Now we're just getting started, so we're going to sell every bit of gold that we get as soon as we get it. But yeah, I'm excited about it and I'm glad you're on this journey with me. Let me flip this around for a second just to show you where I am right now. So you travel enough, fly enough. This is the plane I'm actually flying on today. It's a 777 out to Vancouver, and I'll take you on it a little bit and then you guys can see this is the side of the airport that they let you come into if you've got front of the bus tickets, let's say. So we're going to head through security. You guys have seen all this before. I'm going to catch up with them on the other side of security and we're going to talk a little bit about my expectations for this trip. Oh yeah, one last thing I told you. I don't know exactly how much gold there is. I know it's from the first couple weeks and I know there was a lot of equipment breakdowns and equipment fixing going on. I know it's well over 10 ounces. I think it's close to 20 ounces, but we're going to find that out once we get to Vancouver. Okay, I have to tell you guys, I'm having a little bit of an internal dilemma. I don't know if anybody here believes in self-creation, but self-creation is essentially things you think about, the things you spend the most time imagining about, researching, are normally the things that you do, you have. And I've been enduring this. You know, I travel, I want to just get out of the way here for a second. I travel about, I want to say 100 to 140,000 miles a year on airplanes, and I'm constantly dealing with this. And I get all the things to make it as efficient as possible, so I have a Nexus card. I do fly a fair bit in business class, just because I feel like I've gotten to that level of life that, you know, I've earned that right. But check this out. Let me just spin this around here and I'll show you. Look at this. Every day, every time I'm here, it's massive. And even going up to the first class lounge, I'm standing in a line now. Now, I don't want to sound like an elitist. I'm not. But at the same time, with the money I'm making, a gentleman that I know very well, Grant Cardone, we were talking before an event he was speaking at before me one time. And I was talking to him about jets and planes. And I said, so what's it like having a private plane? And he said, it's changed my life. It's made everything easier. And I said, when would somebody know if they should buy a private plane? And he said, there's two reasons. He said, number one, your time becomes so valuable and you're so busy that you can't just make commercial travel happen. And that's what's happened to me on this trip, which I'll explain to you. And then he says, number two, when you make so much money that you're going to pay that much in taxes. So actually buying the plane is going to save you money because you can write it off, and that means you'll have a lower effective tax rate when you buy the plane. I'm doing a lot of research into this, getting closer. Okay, this is the Air Canada Lounge, and the way you get into it, you have the ticket and you just tap the ticket. What I am impressed with is, you know, I've been traveling on Air Canada and in business class for about 14 years, and you can see the advancements in technology and everything. I only have about an hour or so, but here in the lounge I'm going to grab a bit of breakfast and hang out and come back to you in a second after I get settled and talk to you a little bit about what my expectations are on this trip. All right, well that ended up being a quick trip into the lounge, but let me just lay it on you. I'm heading down to jump on the plane right now. But here's the deal. We started mining on around May the 14th, and I think I mentioned this to everybody ahead of time, but we were buying the placer mine from Jim and Wendy with all their equipment. Now, one of the things that we knew was going to be an issue, we just didn't know how much of an issue, is that most of this equipment sat unused for a year and a half. So we knew that there would be startup issues, and most of the heavy equipment that we were buying from Jim and Wendy were, I want to say, anywhere from 30 to 40 years old, so heavily used equipment. I've since found out, since I got into placer mining, that in the heavy equipment industry, the joke is that placer mining is where heavy equipment goes to die. So, you know, in that first couple of weeks, I want to say from when we started around the 14th of May until the end of June, at the time of this recording, we probably, I would say half of that time we didn't get full production days because we've been dealing with equipment, we've been upgrading equipment and all the rest of it. But we did manage to find about 20 ounces of gold, and we're literally right now about 30 days from closing. Anyway, I'm just jumping on an elevator, so I'm going to shut this off for a second. So 20 ounces of gold is what we have so far. The other thing I'm excited about on site is we have 5 guys, so that's what we figured we needed. It took a long time to find the right people to work on site. You got to be able to trust them. They got to be from around the area, and that wasn't easy either. But we got 5 guys working out there right now, and you know, knock on wood, we seem to be on track now. We seem to have the equipment all working properly. The new equipment that we acquired seems to have integrated properly. The wash plants are working. And as we sit right now, we're doing about 70 to 80 yards of pay dirt per hour, and we're getting about an ounce of gold for every, in the dirt we're in right now, about 70 yards. So if we stay on track, we get full days in, 13 hours are a full day in this time of year, you know, we could get to the point where we're seeing 13 ounces a day. So that's the knock on wood part. So what we're doing now is to really create a process that we can scale. We've opened up an account with a company called Technique. Technique is the company that we send the gold to. And remember, we're sending the gold, raw gold, right out of the ground. So this gold over the years has gotten other materials into it. You know, there's lithium out there in those mines. There's bronze, there's silver, all kinds of other things. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna take the raw gold that we're gonna take them today, and they're gonna melt it down, and then they're gonna analyze it. They're gonna tell us if there are any other minerals or elements or metals in our gold. They're gonna tell us the purity of our gold that we found so far. And then what they do with it that I think is a really smart business plan for them is once they have the gold, you know, they sign for it at the weights, we agree on it, then they melt it down, and then they have an entire online system where the records are kept. So they'll update the system the same day today, and it will say in our online platform we have 14 ounces of gold, 1 ounce of silver, whatever it is. And then here's the best part, we can sell it with the push of a button, and we sell it at the market rates, whatever the high rates are. So right now we're going to sell every ounce of gold that we bring them because we need the capital, the cash in the business to legitimize this, to pay our bills, to pay our lenders, to pay the staff, to buy new equipment, etc., etc. But it will get to a point once we stabilize that we leave the gold in the account. You know, especially when we start, you know, we're going to get to a point where somebody on our team, probably me, will start trading the metal, the precious metal, the gold and the silver, whatever else we have, so we can make sure that we're getting the most money for it. And that's something I'm excited about because that means everything else has stabilized. Dan left Williams Lake, BC. Well, right now for me it's 7 o'clock in the morning, 4 hours early. So he's probably leaving right now. It's a 5-hour drive for him from Williams Lake down to Vancouver. He's going to meet me at 10 o'clock. Then we're going to go over to Technique, and they've agreed to let me film the whole thing. So I'm going to be able to show you guys it. I'll introduce you to the team down there, and we're going to be there for about 2 hours. Then we're jumping on a small commuter plane, and we're heading over to the island, Vancouver Island. We're going to go to Nanaimo. In Nanaimo, British Columbia, one of the largest manufacturers of gold equipment called Macon is there, and we're going to look at some equipment that we need, and yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun together. So I'm going to turn the camera off because I'm about to head into this, and I'm way up there, so I got to just kind of squeeze through the lines, and we'll see you guys soon. Yeah, you know, here I am. I'm in seat 11A. I don't know if anybody can have a look at this. You can see it from here. Yeah, anyway. You know, one of the things that I've been reminded of, and I can now say, having been in the weeds of this business, is that all businesses in essence are the same. Whenever you start a business, the hardest time is going to be in the beginning. When you buy a business, the hardest time is going to be in the beginning. It's as you figure it out and how you figure out how to optimize it. And one of the things I can assure you, and assure everybody that's on this journey with me, is I will figure this out, and I will make this a high yield, high producing gold mining operation. I just did it in another industry, and this has nothing to do with this video series, but if you're following me on YouTube, you can easily find some videos that tell you about our hot tub company that we bought. We bought that company 8 months ago, didn't know a thing about the hot tub industry, put the right people in place, place. The month we bought it, they did 80,000 in sales. Last month we did close to $600,000 in sales. So you're talking about a 7x in revenue, and now we're focusing on productivity and driving costs down. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. Step one is to increase revenue by finding lots of gold and watch that revenue coming in. Step two is to lower costs and make the whole production process more efficient. We're going to do the same thing here. You're coming on this journey with me. Anyway, we'll see you when we get to Vancouver. All right, it's a beautiful day in Vancouver. I just got off the plane and I'm just waiting for Dan, our general manager. Dan Buckland is our general manager at the gold mine project. We hired him about 2 months ago, and I have to tell you, he's doing an amazing job. I don't know if I've said this publicly, but I'm assuming he sees these videos and hopefully he'll see this. He's really got things under control. He's got an engineering background, so he's got a natural mindset for, you know, doing triage on the equipment breakdowns, which are part of this business, and he's just doing amazing with it. And he's actually going to be showing up in the work truck we bought. So if you remember a couple episodes ago when we bought the Toyota pickup truck, he's going to be down here in a second, and we're going to, a bit early, our appointment's at 11 o'clock at Technique, which is the name of the company that is doing that. So we're at 10:20 now. Oh yeah, so we won't be too long. We're probably going to head right over there and have a lot of fun with it. So the next time I update you in a couple minutes, we'll probably be showing up at Technique. All right, so I'm just sitting in the truck right now, and I'm here. We're here at Technique. You'll see the place in a second. It's right down there at the end. So they're the company that takes the gold, smelts it down, cleans it up, sees what's in it, and we're off to the race. And what's really interesting is, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this or not. This will probably be hard to show you. What I can do is spin this around, and then I can go like this. I don't know if you'll see that or not, but that is all the gold right in there. Yep, there you go. Look at that. It's actually about 20 ounces of gold. There's one little nugget in here that I want to show you. This is what Technique's going to do for us. So if we can look at this, you can see how big that nugget is. Let me see if I can go find it. There you go. But if you look closely at it, it does have something else on it in it. It's a rock, or it's hard for you to see. So Technique's going to figure out what that is. Not just that, but they're also going to take a really good look at the quality of the gold that we have. Now, in an earlier phase of this, when we were looking at it, I bought an ounce of gold from Jim, brought it back to Toronto, and went to a friend of mine has a company with a machine that can measure the quality of the gold, the purity of it. And he measured it and said it was 97% pure. So we knew that we were dealing with good quality gold. Now, today, this is where it's going to happen. So you can see up there, it says Technique, and that's Dan over there, the general manager I've been talking a lot about. We're just gonna head inside and check this place out. What's that?
It said, the one next to it says Salt Spring Coffee. Yeah, I don't know why it's wet. It wasn't wet when I weighed it. Oh yeah.
They're leaving a lot of gold in
Oh
there.
yeah, crap.
I brought the scale as well because I figured it would be interesting to see.
Oh, for sure.
So we're literally just gonna watch right now as they burn this down. You'd lose a hand pretty quick there, eh? You'd lose a hand pretty quick there.
Yeah, yeah. The green bird.
All right, well, you guys saw it right there. That's the first time I've ever seen it too. And literally it was added to some other things that helped break it down, and now it's melting. Okay, now they're ready to take the gold out of the crucible. We're gonna just slide around here again. Look at the gloves.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So that black on top of that slide, right? That's all slide. Nice. And then do you guys just melt that down again, or you just chuck it away? There's nothing left.
All right, now we're going back in and we're actually gonna see the gold. Yep. Yeah.
Every time it's right.
You see? So that's the finished product. That's 10 ounces of gold right there. You can see it now. There's a process they do to it from now. All right, well, there you go. That was the first experience at Technique. We took them 10 ounces, 10.4 ounces, and we got 10.04 when it was refined. And then Dan, right here, feeling like a goofball, he left 6 ounces of it up at the mine, but it's okay, we got it for next time too. It was a really amazing experience, and what I love about it, we had a great conversation with them while we were in there. And they told us some of the different ways that we can start sending the gold down where we don't have to make the visits every time. So anyway, we're on our way over to the Vancouver airport. We're going to catch a little commuter plane to Nanaimo, and we're going to go check out the next level of equipment that we're going to be getting into as we scale this mining operation. Okay, here we are again. Now listen, but right before I go into security, Dan and I are at this airport, and I want you to go into the chat right now and tell me, does it look familiar to you? This is going to tell me who's actually following this series or not, because we're back in the same airport I was in a couple months ago. And I got to turn this off because we're about to go through security, but I'm going to get through there and tell you what we've done so far and where we're going. All right, we're in Nanaimo, British Columbia now. And sorry, we got joking around and laughing a bit, and I totally didn't show you the plane we just came over here on. It was very interesting though, for a commercial plane, we were only 2,000 feet above the water, and the whole flight was 18. We're going to spend longer in this taxi getting to Macon Industries than we did on the plane we were just on. So what we're doing here is we're actually going to visit probably one of the biggest manufacturers of gold mining equipment in Canada. They're called Macon Industries, and we've been looking at a lot of equipment. This guy and I, Dan and I, the general manager, all roads seem to point to this company, and so we're doing this for two reasons. We have a trommel that you're going to see in a couple videos coming up, capable of doing, let's say, 100 to 200 yards an hour. But in order to get it working, we have to build a sluice, which obviously all the gold and the dirt goes into when it's separated. We have to find a system to load it, the trommel. And so we're going to talk to them about that, but we're also thinking about the future. We're going to pay significant deposits to the government and allow us to do more on the property we have. And with that, we need bigger equipment. So we're going to talk to them about some of the automated systems they have for cleaning the gold. And we're also going to talk to them about some of the financing programs they have in order to let us acquire some of the equipment we need. Because remember, this is not just another video series about some little mom and pop gold mining operation. We have a claim that is 1,800 acres that we know has hundreds of thousands, if not millions of ounces of gold throughout it. And we're putting together a plan. We're learning all about it this season, but next season, we're going to come in guns a-blazing. And this is a very important meeting in that process. So I'll turn the camera back on and take you guys into that meeting with us in just a few minutes. Okay, so now we're in Parksville, British Columbia, which is about an hour north of Nanaimo. And we're here at a place called Macon Industries. And we're here to look at things like this. This is a major wash plant. So this wash plant, like you've seen them down on the site, the little hobby ones we're using, this wash plant could actually do 1,000 yards an hour. Now, if you think about 1,000 yards an hour and think an ounce in 100 yards, if you do 1,000 yards, that's 10 times. So that would be 10 ounces.
Yeah, we might suck the river dry with that thing.
No.
Yeah, and then this is the drilling stuff that we build into the other market for more exploration side of things. Just some of our processing, cutting, and whatnot is done here. And then we do a little bit of water jet here.
Oh yeah.
We've got a plasma table and a press that I'll show you. So all that stuff, kind of our fab was originally across the road. So we set up our processing here, and then we end up buying the facility in Chemainus.
Right.
So now everything's done down there, other than we do all our kind of heavy processing here.
Right. Which means like a half an hour.
It's about 40 minutes.
Yeah. Actually, you haven't got an undercarriage for a attachment 70. There's line over.
No, it would be like a good running.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's going to cost us substantially more than that to get it lined up.
Oh yeah, like I honestly, I would be looking at that as an option.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, we can look into it. That's what we do is kind of source that stuff.
Right. Like everything goes. I guess it's all the same.
It's kind of similar, some of it.
That's the key message.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about, Ken. So right now, I mean, everything is not perfect, but particularly our cleanup is really slow. We've got a Nelson concentrator, which I quite like. Works well, but it's still really slow after that. Maybe it's just because we don't really know what we're doing.
What size Nelson do you have?
It's a 7.5.
Okay, so pretty small.
Yeah, and then it's got a screen on it as well. So it's a little mini test plan.
So that's like, it's essentially set up for hard rock, right? Like that'll be kind of that's in our minds, that's a hard rock. Like that'll be like a Falcon.
Right.
Similar, you know, it's the bowl's quite tiny, spins at 1,000 RPM.
Yeah.
High G forces. The way that setup is more hard rock.
Right.
It needs the fluidized bowl.
Yeah.
For us, we do. Our bowl is 24 inch.
Yeah, it's a big fucking bowl.
So it's designed specifically for placer.
Right.
You know, we've done cleanups where we can get 250 ounces in that bowl. We could run, say on that 300 machine, you'd be probably 15 minutes, maybe, 15 minutes to run a full cleanup through this machine. And all you would have in here is about 2 to 4 pounds of concentrate that you still need to wheel it or table it.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering as well. So we've got the wheel. Do you screen it as well? Like
If you classify it and then wheel it or table it, you know, that's the best bet. But I put the first one of these, I sold it to Atlan. The guy was 11 hours to do a cleanup. He was a big operator. We actually had to run it in 4 batches, his cleanup, because he had so much like gold in there. But we did it in basically 45 minutes. Got him to do his rough concentrate, and then he had to demag for about 2 hours.
Right.
So he was like 3 hours compared to 11 hours to do his concentrate. So.
Pretty damn nice. So the big winches they did something else for these? Yeah.
Those are the magnets.
Oh,
so that's they're rare rare magnets. So they have
What are they good for?
they're going on the top of these runs that are very over now.
And then they use them now for secondary runs. They go now.
There's a mineral magnetite. Jonas he's the technical guy. He knows the details, but they're pulling out a fair bit of this mineral that they're looking for to ship back to the US.
I do wonder what minerals it is.
Yeah.
So, what's this? That's the conveyor for this one?
For the 600. Those are the sluice runs that we've sold that you guys are probably
Yeah. These are my this technically we want. They basically spray water up and knock the shit out. And that's where this is where they catch in 60%. So super fast clean up. So this is what we would be looking at for 200 yards an hour. 2. You'd be both of these, wouldn't we? If we were 200 yards an hour, you'd want both.
Yeah, you wouldn't. You probably would. It would be a push to get 200 yards an hour through this.
Really?
What do these cost?
Pardon?
What do they cost?
These are about, probably with all the hydraulic riffles in them and everything, 45 grand, something like that.
For the pair?
For the set, yeah.
And then what would the lead time be on something like this if you did decide you wanted to do it?
You have an extra one sitting around right now?
No, but we could probably build something pretty quick.
You thinking about this for the trommel?
Yeah. But what I'm thinking is, now after you said this, is I think what would be worth the investment is if we could bring one of your guys up and have a look at the trommel, measure it, bring one of your tech guys up and actually properly plan it out instead of just building some sluices and hoping.
I'll tell you, but the other thing, looking at that 300 in there, it's 200 grand-ish, 250. If you're going to pay 45 for these, and then you're going to spend another $20,000 for all the little shit, and then you're going to have a feeder that feeds it, which is probably another 20 or 30 grand.
Yeah.
You're going to spend spend 100 grand making that work,
Yeah.
or 200 grand to get a brand new piece of equipment.
What
That's
kind of
only 50
yardage?
yards now. We reckon. Well, I mean, it's probably about 6 foot diameter, maybe 7 foot diameter, and
Yeah.
about 50 feet long.
And does it have like a splitter box design under it or anything?
I haven't even taken a proper look really. It's literally just been dropped. It's 25 to 30 grand of work all day long just to get it running. Like,
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah. And that's the issue with trommels. So we built obviously trommels, a lot more shaker decks because they're honestly way more efficient
Yeah.
for the size and whatnot of them. But
Yeah.
the trommel, the thing with the trommel is when it's rotate. I don't know how much experience you have with mining. But
Not much.
So basically, the trommel throws all of the slurry to the one side, right? It rotates
Right.
one direction.
Makes sense. Yeah. Didn't
So,
think about that.
so what you want to do is in the catch tray. Usually, there's a catch tray that
Yeah.
flows underneath the trommel, and you have like a splitter box design, like a hard rock splitter. So, where you have like channels that run either direction. So it takes material from this side and puts it to this side and that side, and that's the only way you can really get the distribution properly.
Right.
And so if you don't have that, which I'm assuming an old trommel like that
Probably
doesn't
not.
have,
I think it's a custom made job as well. I mean, it's not. It looks like it's fairly well made, but it's I
So-
don't.
Or in airplane mode. Feel free to use your device for taking pictures. Behind the rear cargo net is the survival kit, first aid kit, fire extinguisher, and the pilot. There are 5 exits in this turbo otter. The door you entered and the one across the aisle are opened by lifting the handle up and pushing the door outward. The doors on either side of the cockpit are opened by twisting the recessed handle in the direction of the arrow and pushing the door outward. The 5th exit is in the ceiling above row 3. Pull the ceiling cover off. Grab the metal
So we spent the night in Nanaimo. We went out and looked at Macon Industries and saw a wash plant that I believe we're going to acquire. I'm just checking into financing for it right now, as well as other equipment, which was really amazing. It really, for me, legitimized what this mining industry is all about, to see major corporations that are selling $1 million machines and above. Now, I'm on a Harbor Air plane, an Otter, a seaplane, and we're using this to get back to Vancouver International Airport so I can get the flight home. But we're gonna do this flight. I'll take some video as we're going across. I'm using my phone for this, so sorry about the video quality. But we'll get a chance to look at this together and enjoy the ride. never been on a float plane before, that was your first virtual experience, do yourself a favor. If you're ever in a situation where you can get on one of these planes and try it, it is a life experience. It was amazing. Hope you enjoyed it. All right, another successful trip. Yeah, I want to call it successful. I'm really excited about it. So let's have a review together. So we saw the work that Technic did and the melting of that first 10 ounces of gold in the gold bar. So now we know we have a complete system in place. And that was pretty validating for me because we're 30 days away from actually closing on the property now. The current owner has been true to his word. You know, we cut a deal with him where we were going to start mining ahead of time so we can see the gold and see how it works. Everything's checking the boxes. I didn't get a chance to go up to the mine on this trip, but at the time I'm recording this video, our seismic geologists are actually showing up on site, and they're going to be there for the next week, actually doing all of their studies to validate where the gold is and give us a plan for the next 5 years to go together. And then we took a trip over to Nanaimo. We went to Macon Industries. They are one of the largest manufacturers of gold equipment in Canada. And you saw that brand new wash plant that we looked at there. Well, that wash plant is capable of doing anywhere between 80 and 200 yards of material per hour, which is freaking awesome. Now, we have bought several wash plants since we started back in January. But what we found with these used wash plants is that a lot of them don't do what we were told they would do. But we're also preparing for the future, right? So we bought a D-rocker and a huge trommel up in Wells. I think if you go back to episode 2, you're going to see that, which is really amazing. But it's too big for what we have permits for this year. So I think we're going to end up buying that wash plant from Macon. And the reason we're going to buy it, I think we're going to lease it, because that wash plant is $350,000 with everything included. The reason it's a good idea, now that we know we have the gold and that we can get 10 to 15 ounces a day, having that wash plant gives us the ability to tap into Macon support. So if we buy a new wash plant from them, they will work with us. They'll come up on site and they'll work with us until it's set up and working properly, which is a huge, huge benefit. And so it was amazing. Spending time with Dan Buckland over the last 2 days was really important for me, and I think he felt the same way, because it just gives us a chance to really connect, get on the same page, discuss some of the issues and things that he's seen and I've seen, because he's my general manager. He's my feet on the ground. And in running all of my businesses, the most important thing for me to have is a general manager for the property that just knows what the hell they're doing. So we got that all taken care of. And now I am just looking for my gate, grabbing a flight back to Toronto. If you guys have any questions about anything you've seen in this episode, definitely drop the questions in the chat. Remember, I'm giving away 10 ounces of gold. Now you know what 10 ounces of gold actually looks like in this bar, but you got that there, and it's going to be amazing. All you have to do to get in on this draw, listen carefully to this. At the end of this mining season, I'm going to give away 10 ounces of gold. All you have to do is subscribe to our channel. You have to watch every video in this series and like the video, share the video, and comment on the video. You do all that, your name's going to go in a draw, and literally every single person that's name is in the draw, we're going to do a draw live on YouTube, and somebody's going to win 10 ounces of gold. Thanks for coming on this journey with me. If you got any questions, any comments, if you got any feedback, if you're in the mining industry and anything we're doing gives you thoughts about what we could do better, what we could do different, I'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks for coming on this journey with us, and we'll see you in the next show. Look at that.